us direction from above. We need a word.
That's what religious folk are. You can see in their life, look in their lives, where you can see that they have religious tendencies, but there's always something hypocritical about their behavior. And the thing that mostly is hypocritical about religious folk is that they don't have any compassion. It's dangerous to teach religious folk the word. Because they'll take the word and they'll apply it in any circumstance without any kind of personal compassion. Many of you may have looked on the news where a pro running back for the Houston Texans was on his way to the hospital to be by the side of his mother-in-law when they told her that she was about to die. Told them. Yeah. Him and his father-in-law, his wife, and his mother-in-law got in the car, and naturally he was speeding. Naturally, he was trying to get there, and a Dallas police officer pulled him over. And he began to, it seemed to me, just to provoke him. You know, because he was trying to explain, my mother-in-law is about to die. I'm trying to go up. My mother-in-law is trying to die. And he was just being all arrogant, lacking any kind of compassion, saying, I'll take you to jail. No, my mother-in-law's about to die. Oh, and then the nurses came out and said, it's true. What he's saying is true. His mother-in-law's about to die. Oh, and he said, okay, well, just write me the ticket. And he said, oh, you got a bad attitude. I can take you to jail. To which he could. It was legal.
All right.
To take him to jail.
Right.
He could have did it. But that's what religious or Pharisees kind of people do, is they have no compassion. A compassionate person is able to discern from the situation and apply the law really sparingly in certain situations. His mother-in-law was not made national news. They're talking about her Good Morning America and showing the tape, and everybody's outraged. People want him to be fired. He doesn't. And they say he doesn't have the right to be a police officer because, oh, you're supposed to be a servant in that role. Right. Hello? Some folk don't have the right to be called a Christian name. Because you don't have enough sense to determine, or enough sense to have compassion in situations and circumstances that need to have compassion applied in somebody else's life. Really? And Jesus, being God and knowing it all and being wise, he knew that they were being hypocrites because they wanted to apply the law, and that's the problem with many police officers. They apply the law to a certain group of people, and other groups, they let them go. Yeah. Hello? Yeah. And that's being a hypocrite. That's being a hypocrite. Everybody should be held to the same standard. I try to tell my wife sometimes about what law enforcement do, and she just, oh no, it don't really happen. I try to tell her about how I've been pulled over 20 billion times. Good fella. Preacher. But there's one problem. I'm young. And what? They have whole cases about racial profiling. Wait a minute! They pulled me over, boy, but I be kind to them officers. Yes, sir, officer, sir. Ours will be better next time. I ain't no dummy. I ain't going to jail. Don't want to go to jail. Yes, sir, Mr. Officer, sir. You got to be wise. You got to be wise. Because if you get an attitude, Yeah, you cause them to have an attitude, and you know, and you have to be compassionate even in that situation because they have to strap on a gun to go to work.
Yeah.
They have to strap on a gun to go to work. Can you imagine that? And any little traffic offense, I've seen it on some of those cop shows, just a regular pull-over offense and getting shot, having a shootout. You know, that's what compassion is. You have to understand both angles. That's why I don't move, and if they pull me over, I don't move. I'll be free. Yeah, so I'm going over to get my license. It's in my back pocket. It's the truth. They have to strap on a gun to go. That blows my mind. It blows my mind. That's something I would never want to do. And you cannot hesitate. If you hesitate, you don't come home to your wife or your kids. See, and that's why some of them are the way that they are. So, but compassion understands both sides of the story. But in this text, it was only one side of the story. And they they were acting as if they cared about God and God's religious law, but it was only one side of the story. There's always two sides to a story. Or you're not getting the whole story. Okay? And those who are in leadership, you realize this. People bring you stuff, but you always have to be hesitant. I was remembering looking at a press release with Obama, and the reporter just was pressing him. Why were you not outraged when AIG officials took all that money? Why were you not outraged just pressing the president? Why did it take you 2 days?
Come on.
The president said, and I'm paraphrasing it, he said, I like to know what I'm talking about before I speak.
All right.
And Jesus, being God, knew what he was talking about when he spoke, because he knew the other side of the story. They was trying to set him up, but he knew the whole story. He knew they were acting religious. And he knew that they had caught her in adultery, and he knew that they only wanted to apply the law to her and not him because he was absent from the courtroom.
All right.
Hello? So, and because of that, he could be, point number 3, the act of accommodation. See, if you're trying to set somebody up, you got to set somebody up. You know, I had a preacher set me up, trying to set me up. I think I told that testimony before about how when you guys were about to call me here to the church, he wanted his man to get the church. So he called back to Abilene to get dirt on Pastor Eton.
Is it dirt or is it?
Dirt. He wanted to get dirt.
He said
dirt. Dirt. I'm like, boy, being in a religious institution, boy, it blows your mind. I would never think. I want my young preachers to go and to live the life that God called them to live as pastors.
Right.
I want that to happen. But if I have to call and get dirt on somebody for it to happen, guess what?
All right.
It ain't gonna happen.
All right.
It make nobody sense. Oh, but they had the dirt on her. They had the dirt that set her up. It says, and when they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, and this blew their mind, if any one of you is without sin,
Right.
let him be the first one to
the calm on the sea. But what we need is a special word that will burn within our heart and give us direction from above.